Hey, I'm Pep, and today we're gonna play Welcome to. Now, I say we because you have the option of playing along with me if you want. Either A, you own your own copy of the game, which is great, you just need to pull out a player board and you can just play along. Or, if you don't have the game, you could probably print off a sheet. I'm not sure if the publisher will like that or not, but you know what? If you really like it, go buy the game. So, advertising. I'll explain some of the concepts as we go along, but this isn't going to be a full teach of the rules or anything. So, if you've never played before, I suggest watching one of the videos I've left in the description below. Those will give you an idea of how to play. If you really want to wing it and go along with me, you might be able to do that, but I'm basically only going to explain each thing as I do it, kind of as a refresher for somebody. I'm also not playing with the solo rules because the intent is for all of you to play along. The only thing that's really going to matter are the objectives, so when it comes to scoring at the end, I'll basically treat my score as one of two options, and if you happen to have beat me to a certain objective, your score will be higher than mine. So that's really the goal, that you can play along, compare your score to mine, and see who wins. I'm also not going to be sitting here number crunching and try to figure out the exact best move for 10 minutes per move. You know, I'm just playing as if I was playing at a table with a little bit of a rush on. So, you know, don't overstress yourself trying to do the same. Anyway, that's enough preamble. Let's get into it. All right, well, first up, we need a name. So I'm going to call this Peptopia. Oh, Peptopia didn't fit, so it's Peptop. I kind of like that. I'll really quickly go through the three objectives. So this one is to have a house built on each of the ends of all of the streets. This one is to have two streets where you have all of either the pools completed or all of the parks completed. You could even do pools on one street and parks on the other. And last up, I need 4 different groupings of houses, 2 that are 2s, 1 that's a 1, and 1 that's a 3. Since I'm going to need fences anyway, if I'm going for that, I will take one of the fence cards, I suppose the 13, and I'll actually place it right here. 13, done. It's kind of nice not having to wait for anyone. I can just flip these over and jump right in. Oh, I love seeing the pools. Yes, I just realized I made a mistake immediately. I forgot to actually place that fence whenever I took it. So before I take the pool, I will stick my fence right there. And for the pool, I'm going to go with this one right here. So I'll circle the pool to show I've taken it, as well as marking it off down here. Hopefully you can see everything. Anyway, let's keep going. We got an 11 fence, an 11 bis, and a 12 park. Well, it's hard not to just take the 12 park and place it right here and mark off that I've completed my first park. Of course, if you're taking a little time to make your decisions, you might have to pause periodically because I will go pretty quick. So next up is 7 purple monies, I forget what they're called, 12 purple monies, and 7 barricade. Now the barricade I'm potentially going to use here, so I'll explain it really quickly, and that's that I can treat this 7 as either up to 2 smaller or 2 larger than it actually is. So I could make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus at the end, whoever has the most is going to get 7 points, then 4 points, 1 point, depending on how many people are playing. But you know what, I actually don't want it. I am going to go with this 7 money increase. Real estate, right. And I'll put that 7, right here, same spot as the other one. And I'm actually going to increase my 1s. I have a feeling I'm going to build a lot of 1s throughout this. All right, next up. More real estate, parks, and more barricades. This 6 park is really tempting. Yeah, I'm just going to take it. I'm going to put the 6 here, and again, cross off the park. Next up, we've got a 3 pool. That's amazing. A 3 fence, less so, and a 14 park. I can't ignore this 3 pool. I'm trying to build pools on this level, if you haven't noticed, so I'm just going to do that right away. And that does leave me a couple numbers in between there too. All right, now we got a 14 barricade, a 10 pool, and a 6 fence. So the first thought is probably I should just place that 10 pool there, but the thing is 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I'm narrowing myself too much. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use this 14 barricade because I want to leave myself a bit of wiggle room. So I'll mark off the barricade because I'm using it, and then I'm going to turn it up to a 16 and I'm going to place it here. So that gives me a little more option to fill some spaces in there because I left myself a little tight. Next up, we have 9 real estate, 14 park again, and a 6 barricade. I think we had 6 barricade before too. Oh, maybe it was a 7. I don't really like any of these options right now, so I am actually going to go with the 6 barricade. So I'll cross off another barricade used here. I'm actually just going to leave it as a 6 and put it right there. Now we've got a 1 barricade, awesome, a 7 park, and a 5 fence. Now it's real tempting to take this 1 barricade and put it down there, or even up there as a 0. But I've got a 7 park, and that's just too perfect when I'm trying to build parks here. So 7, mark off my park. This is going really well. Now I'm just looking for a pool that's maybe a 12 or 13. Let's see if I get it. 6 real estate, 11 fence, or an 8 park. Well, I don't need any more parks here, but I do want a lot of fences, so I can fit that 11 in. I know if I get an 11 pool, I'm going to want to put it there, so I'm actually just going to waste this pool and stick it here. And for the fence, I guess I'll just put it across there. I just noticed, by the way, I forgot to mark one of my pools in for points here, so I'll just do that now. All right, next up we have 12 park, 5 park, and a 9 barricade. I suppose I could start building some parks down on this row instead, but I kind of want to take advantage of this while I have it. So I'm going to use the barricade, I'm going to knock it down to an 8, and I'll place it right there. Now if I get a 9 or 10 pool, I could just place it there. All right, so now we have an 8 pool. Oh, so close. 9 real estate and a 5 bis. Now the bis give you negative points, so I don't really like using them, but I feel like the first one can be worth it. So you know what? I actually will do it. I'm gonna write the 5 here, and I'll just make the other 5 right there. And I'm supposed to put a little B in here for bis, so there we go. And of course, can't forget to mark this so I know I've lost a point. And next up we have a 5 park, a 7 park, I feel like we've gone through a lot of the parks, and an 8 park, oh my gosh. Well, you know what, if I have to place a park anyway, I might as well go with the 5 park here, mark this off, and I mean, maybe I'll just get the parks that way instead of going for a park and a pool. Okay, let's hope we get some non-parks here. 8 real estate, 15 real estate, and a 10 pool. I was waiting for that 10 pool, so I'm just gonna do it. That's an easy, quick grab, and mark another pool off. Next up, we've got a 1 real estate. Oh, 1's interesting. A 9 park, and a 13 real estate. You know, I'm gonna place the 9 here, and it's a little risky because I'm gonna leave it so I need an 8, but I want another park, and I don't want to place it first. I want to have the option to put something there. Thank goodness for barricades, right? Now I will reveal a 9 fence. I like that. An 8 fence, give myself some options, and a 5 fence. Oh my gosh. I would say these aren't well shuffled, but I mean, they're put into 3 piles, so they're definitely well shuffled. But hey, I was looking for an 8 anyway, so I'll just stick the 8 in there. And I guess for the fence, I'll go right here. All right, now we've got 7 business, or real estate, or not real estate. Yeah, real estate. 3 fence. Oh, I like that 3 fence. And an 8 fence. This is another quick decision for me. That 3 fence fits very nice into here. And then I'll place my fence like this. Now at this point, you might notice that I actually could complete that card there because I have a group of 1, 2, 3, and 2. And you know, it is really tempting, and if someone else were to complete it this round, I would piggyback and complete it along with them, as that's something you can do. But the problem is one of the other objectives requires the houses on the end. So if I use that house on the end, I need to put a mark above it to say it's been used, and I can't use it to complete another objective. So I would be permanently locking myself out of that one, and I'm not willing to do that. And this is probably a good moment to add that if you've completed an objective, you should be marking the points that you would have gained. It's hard because anyone else who's playing in the world watching right now, they might have already completed something, so you wouldn't know, but you could do the same thing as me if you want and kind of make your score, 56/52, depending on whether you got the objective first or not. There's also something you can do where whenever you're the first to complete an objective, you can shuffle the piles in order to get the numbers back in. Anytime we've ever played in person, we've always forgotten about it, and even when someone did remember, they never took the option. So I'm going to assume that you're not going to take the option, and I'm not taking the option. There are reasons to do it. There's low numbers. If those low numbers have already been taken and you need them, you might want to get them shuffled back in, but yeah, let's just forget about it. Anyways, we're more than half done, so let's get back to it. Now, another option I always have is to use a roundabout, which I'm not using, and I probably won't use during the game. I usually don't, but if you're watching, we are using the advanced version as we have some of the advanced objectives, so feel free to use the roundabouts too. If you get yourself into a pickle, they can be pretty handy because they essentially split your board into an extra street. Anyways, next up we have 8 bis. Don't want to use any bisses. 4 fence, that's what I'm talking about, and a 7 park. Well, short of using a roundabout, I literally can't use the 7, and I don't want to use the 8, so I'm going to use the 4 fence. And I'll place it here to give myself a couple different options. And for the fence, I am going to place it here. And that makes it so I can complete this safely now. So I need to mark above the streets which ones I've used, so I can't use them again to complete something. And now I will mark the 11 points in here. And I'll just put a little slash with a 6 here to remind myself later. And then this card would get flipped over. So now anyone who completes it would only get the 6 points. It's also a way to end the game if I happen to complete all 3 objectives. I personally haven't seen a game end that way yet, but I don't know, it might actually happen with this one. Alright, now we've got 9 real estate, a 2 pool, and a 7 park. I love this 2 pool. I'm just going to use the 2 pool. I'm going to put it there, circle the pool, mark a pool off, and I'm very happy. All right, now we've got 12 real estate, a 2 park, I'm sad about that, and a 15 pool. Oh my gosh, I couldn't have made this better. I'm going to put the 15 pool here because that seems good. I've never had this much luck with pools. All right, we have a 1 bis. Oh, I might break my rules on that. 4 fence and a 13 fence. Okay, so yeah, normally I don't want to use the bis, but I'm not sure how often a 1 is going to come up again, and I do need it. I could also use that 13 fence. I'm going to be a little risky. I'm going to use the 13 fence. I'm going to put it right here, and I'll just fill that in. All right, so we've got a 6 park now. Oh, that's handy. A 4 barricade and a 12 pool. I've been waiting for that 12 pool. I'm going to use it. I'm going to put the 12 pool right there, circle it, and not only do I mark this off, but I've also completed this one. So I give myself the 7, or maybe 4, depending on how everyone else has been doing. And just a reminder, it's because I got all the parks up here and all the pools on that one. So now I'll flip this over, so at this point, if anybody else gets this one, you're only going to get 4 points for it. All right, now we've got a 5 pool. Yeah, okay, I've had enough pools at this point. 4 real estate and a 6 real estate. Well, there's no reason not to use the 6 as it'll fit in here. And for real estate, I guess I'll bump up the 2. I do have 2 of those. So now I'll get 3 points at the end of the game for any of my 1 or 2 groups of buildings surrounded by fences. I suppose they're called estates. I always forget the terms in games, so I just kind of go with it. Estates, fenced in areas, fancy bits. Alright. Now we've got a 13 fence. Good, good. An 8 bis. And a 10 real estate. So we have a couple good options. I could put the 13 here. I could put the 10 there. But the 13 is the one I want the most, I think. So I'm going to 13, and I suppose I get extra points for my singles, so I'll put 1 there. I'm feeling pretty good, although I just realized that I kind of wanted to put more parks in here, so hopefully some parks come up, although we kind of bled them out earlier. So now we have a 10 barricade, a 15 fence, and a 3 barricade. Okay, I do want this 15 fence pretty bad, but I also said I wanted to try to save that for parks. Ones aren't going to come up all that often, so I'm going to take the barricade, knock it all the way down to 1, and I'm going to stick it in here. So I'll make sure to mark off a barricade afterwards. No, I just noticed I suppose I can mark the points in for this park that I've achieved too. We're going to have to shuffle these soon because we're getting close to the end. So we've got a 2 bis, which I can't use, an 11 real estate, which is actually pretty good, and a 4 bis. Well, the only one I can really use is this 11, so I need to decide if I'm willing to abandon my parks, which I really should. Yeah, I mean, I'll kick myself if it comes up later that I could have placed it, but I'll put the 11 there, and I'll just up the 2 again. All right, the decks are empty now, so the way this works is the 3 cards that were left are going to be flipped over, and those are going to be the types, and then we're going to have to shuffle all the cards together, deal out 3 equal piles again, and the number on top will be the number for those. That seems pretty simple, right? Now, of course, you probably don't want to watch me shuffling for an extended period of time. And on top of that, usually a game, and well, definitely the game won't go much longer, so my little tip is that you don't really need to make 3 equal piles. You really just need to make 3 piles that are approximately equal, because there's only maximum 6 turns left in the game. I suppose 8 if you include having rounds where you just can't fill anything in. But yeah, you're not going to make it through another, whatever it is, 27, 31 cards each. Yeah, so 3 approximately equal piles is fine. And it's getting tight now. Thankfully, I did get 1 that I can complete, and that is 12 on the real estate. So I'll just put it here. And I'll mark up the 3. I do have 1 group of 3 at least. And it's also getting to the point where somebody might have started to get some failures. Maybe someone's even completed the 3rd objective. So the game could be over for you, but, you know, just keep watching me play for now, I suppose. So we've got a 6 bis. Can't use that. A 12 pool. I can't use that. And a 7 bis. I can't use that. Well, hey, speaking of failures, there we go. Got one right now. I still could potentially make a split, but I don't think I need to. I actually have a good number of things that can be played, so I'm just going to hope for the best here. A 5 fence that cannot be played. A 3 real estate that cannot be played. No, a 9 park that can be played. I just need to decide how risky I want to be. Yeah, I want to try to get another pool, so I'm going to place the 9 park right here and mark off my first little park space. So now anything under 10 I automatically can't use. Hooray! Alright, we've got a 6 park, unusable. Oh, a 15 bis. Okay. And an 8 fence. Well, the only one I can use is the 15 bis, and you know what? I can actually end the game that way. So I am going to put the 15 in here, and then I will mark off my 2nd bis to push this 15 over there. And that means that I've now completed this. So I'll mark in another 7 /4. And I don't even need to flip this over because that ends the game. So let's check my score, and you can check yours as well. All right, so I'll mark in the parks I've reached. So that's 4 and 2. So I got a total of 16 points from parks. We'll come back to that later. I got 21 points from pools. I really didn't use as many barricades as I normally would in a game, so I'm just going to play it safe and give myself, let's say, 4 points, assuming I got second place. If you got more than me, take your 7. If you got less, take 1 point. Seems easy enough. Now, let's take a look. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 closed off neighborhood estates that are specifically one house. So 5 times 3 is 15. Now I've only got 2 estates of 2, and each are worth 4, so that's 8. And I've got 1 estate of 3, so that's 4 for that one. Now I do have minus points from bis, so I'll lose 3. Now luckily I didn't make enough mistakes / unplayable cards in order to get any negatives from that, so that's good old 0. And when it comes to over here, like I said, I'll do 2 different scores. I'll do the optimal score, meaning that I was the first to get all of these. Seems a little unlikely, but that'd be 18 and 7, 25. And the other option, of course, is that I did the worst possible and got everything last, in which case that would be 14 instead. So that goes to show that those can be worth quite a bit points-wise, because that's an 11-point gap between whether you're completing them all first or last. So we'll do my lower score first. That is 30, 51, 55, 78, 82, minus 3 for a total of 79. And if I had have got the most points possible, instead, that 79 would be a 90. So that means my score is somewhere between 79 and 90, depending on whether you completed something before I did or whether I completed them all first. And it should be easy enough for you to go through and change my score depending on whether or not you completed it before I did. Now, if we happen to tie, the tiebreaker goes to whoever completed the most estates. In my case, that's 8. So if you have more estates completed than me, you would win the tie. If we'd still be tied, you then start going up by whoever has the most estates of 1, whoever has the most estates of 2, etc. So I have 5 estates of 1. If you happen to be tied with me there too, I have 2 estates of 2, 1 estate of 3, and then nada. So you can figure out the tiebreakers there. I'd actually love to know if somebody tied me so well that they won off of the last tiebreaker of having a single 4 estate while I didn't. That would be pretty great. But yeah, that's welcome too. You can pretty much play it anywhere because of how it works. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Probably play it on a bus or a train, as long as you have something you can put the cards onto, like a tray of some sort. And just like this, it's pretty easy to play online. Of course, it's a lot easier if you can actually know whenever somebody has completed one of the objectives, because then you don't have to have the variable scoring thing I just talked about. But yeah, you could also just compete with somebody playing the solo mode as well. If you liked this kind of gameplay of playing through a game that you can play along with me as well, let me know. I can definitely do this. It was a lot easier to film and get through the game than I expected even. If you have any other comments or suggestions, leave them down below as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and if you played along, thanks a lot for playing. Like I said, I really want to know if you beat me, if it was close, if you tied. I'm very curious. I feel like I did pretty well. I got pretty lucky there, so I'm kind of curious if anyone beats me. No cheating, though. I'll know. And you'll know deep down. It'll eat at you from the inside for all days to come. If you had a lot of trouble playing the game, or you noticed your score was a lot lower than mine, and maybe your score is consistently lower when you play these type of roll and write games, I do have a pep talk right here that you can watch that gives you some pointers and tips on how to do better at that particular type of game. I happen to reference this game quite a bit in that video. But seriously, it's been great. Have a good one. Hope you see me later.